and welcome to another video by Dan the Man. In this video we're going to be looking at the difference between KevEdit and the ZZT editor. So I compiled a quick presentation, didn't take long, just a couple of minutes just to show everybody what's it all about. So I'm going to show that right now. Okay, so first off, KevEdit is the best ZZT editor that we do have currently. There is a built-in editing system which is fantastic, but the problem is with the built-in editor there's a lot of disadvantages when making a world, and those disadvantages have been around since the first inception of this game. So since '91 this game could have used a better editor. It's not the best in the world, the editor, but it's currently the one with the most stability and the one with the most performance. So if there's anything new coming out, I'm sure I'll hear about it, but this editor is about, I believe, 11 years already defunct. But it's stable. That's the key. It's very stable. So why use another editor? Limitations, of course. So the original editor has these limitations, and this is just a small list. There's actually probably 100 things wrong with it, but we're going to go through some of the main focal points first. The original editor has a limited color palette. Now ZZT already has a limited color palette, so it further limits itself by, I believe, only selecting the 8 primary colors, and that's it. So in the KevEdit you can select more, of course. There's no cut and paste feature in the original, so you are pretty much on your own by typing and hand keying all data, and that takes a very long time. You can import boards, but it'll replace all the contents of your current board. Yellow borders in worlds, that was a huge problem. If you looked at AOL's message boards in the 1990s, you would see a lot of AOL created ZZT worlds that were just made in 10 minutes or less, you know, kids or whatever. And yellow boards are the default border around the entire edge of the playable screen. So that's a big annoyance that you'd have to take out every single time. It was very difficult to carry an object to a different board. It caused data corruption. So for those who've been around forever with this, there's no point in using the original editor because of that. That is one of the main focal points, where you carry an object and it doesn't retain all the data across the across the board. It just doesn't have that capability. So there were a lot of times where the data would become corrupt. So that's a very good point on that one. One color in the object editor. So when you're editing code into an object, you're only going to see bright yellow text. That's it. That is absolutely abysmally horrible. It doesn't differentiate between anything. Your brain just kind of looks at it and says, okay, it's easy to make mistakes with just one color. So by KevEdit splitting up the colors, it looks a lot prettier, a lot more manageable. And I'll show a screenshot of that too if I can in the next slide. There's no text wrap in the object editor, so in the original editor you would literally hit the wall every single time, and you would have to then, okay, I gotta delete that word, I gotta delete that part of it to fit it on the next line and everything. So you were constantly hitting the word, the no text wrap issue almost every single time you wrote something. So that was, I can tell you, that was very annoying in the first couple of years I was creating worlds, because I would hit that constantly. And back to the object point too, I actually remember creating an object after, I think it was 15 minutes, and I was making this thing do everything, get shot, give player feedback, give this, give that, you know, spit something to the display and everything, and I just remember the thing just corrupted itself when I was moving it, and I was so angry. So those are some major points with the object editor's limitations, and many more issues. So that's just a point just want to make on those. Alright, so next, KevEdit. No yellow borders, so every time you initially make a world, you're not going to see that yellow crap on the side. That's amazing. Sounds like something very petty and small, but it's not. It's not, because deleting something every time you start a world is ridiculous. So it just saves you more time. Copy and paste terrain, text, anything. Copy and paste feature works great. You can copy parts of the screen by just holding Shift, I believe, and Control C, and Control X, and Control V. They work seemingly fine. I haven't encountered too many issues with that, so that's good. Windows native, so it actually does run in Windows 10, which is probably just dumb luck that it still works. But that's a very big advantage. So you don't have to open a DOS shell or use DOSBox or whatnot or anything like that. So that's pretty powerful too. Text wrap in editor, as I mentioned before, there's a text wrap feature. So when you're writing large amounts of dialogue, it'll just wrap, and that is ridiculously good. Special colors on commands, messages, etc. in editor differentiates between things, so it'll help you when you're trying to debug, or if you get some kind of weird error or you just want to add more. It makes it so much easier by just switching a couple of colors of the commands and messages and flags. Board switching maintenance, you can, if you hit B, I didn't tell you this feature yet, that if you hit B, you can actually, I believe, use the arrow keys and just move the boards around on the list. So when you're trying to just streamline everything in the end, or you say, oh, you know what, I want to put that sewer system or whatever later in the game or whatnot, you can actually move it up and down the screen. So that's absolutely invaluable. Gradient fill tool, fantastic. It does radial fills, spiral fills, I believe, or something like that, and you get basically almost like a good gradient effect that would just accentuates the game, makes it look a little bit less just one colorish, or two colors for that matter. Object copy and paste works. I know I mentioned that before, but that's huge too. That means you can take an object, and there is no like universal object system, so you'd have to have an object on every single screen if you wanted to use said object. I don't remember the terminology, like a universal object thing, but it works great, that feature. Object character select with character values. Now, when you're selecting an object, ZZT, the original editor, does let you select the character, which is all well and good, but it doesn't show you the character value. So I don't remember what the smiley face is, 250, 255, whatever the smiley face is, or maybe it's 1 or 2. I actually think it's 1 or 2. But you can't see that in the original ZZT. So I remember a long time ago me just myself just guessing what character value was that. Was that character 50? Was that 60? So there's a couple of boards I just randomly put in different characters, change a couple objects so it phased off or exploded. So it's very valuable to have that feature on there too. Clipboard for last selected objects, absolutely fantastic. If you're doing some kind of cheesy fire effect, if you're doing some kind of board editing, you can select between the last items selected. So I believe it's up to like 8 or 10, and that is absolutely invaluable. You can use it for editing, you can use it for enemies, you can use it for anything that you're doing in there. The clipboard is fantastic. So where does that really leave us? KevEdit's the best. There's not really that much out there. Other defunct editors include ZZT Advanced Editor and Zap, and there are a couple of others here and there that edit ZZT files, but they were standalone games, like I believe MegaZoo, Zoo, whatever it's pronounced, that could edit. You could also edit with Zig. That was a big, well, not a big one, but that kind of flopped too, by I believe Jacob Hammond. You can do editing in a couple other ones. There's Plastic, but I don't believe you can save in the ZZT format. Then there's other projects right now called ZZT Ultra that's currently Flash based online, so that's pretty cool. But this KevEdit hands down is going to be the best editor for you. Combination with that and Mega ZZT, Super Color or Super Tools Kit, whatever they call it, STK. And there's a couple of other boards too where you can just copy and paste different features and colors in. That's still going to help you. But that's basically the list right now of where it stands. So I greatly encourage future budding ZZT designers, if you do want to make levels, use KevEdit. It's going to help you immensely. Thank you very much for watching.